Oh my goodness. Did you think he was kidnapped? He's probably the only one who can answer this. What year the Beatles put out the song "All You Need Is Love"? What year did the Beatles in July? What year of July did the Beatles put out "All You Need Is Love"?
1969.
Close. We're getting close. 67. God bless you. Yes, 67. And you know, Harry, this was one of the hardest years of the Vietnam War, the most deadliest years of the Vietnam War. And John Lennon and Paul McCartney wrote "All You Need Is Love." And they put it out there. And it hit. It's successful. It went, most Beatles songs were successful anyhow. But anyhow, topped the charts in the UK right away. For 3 weeks, the music was a lot better back then. For 3 weeks, it stayed at number 1, which was a big deal back then. Music was much better. In the U.S., it stayed for a whole week. It was a hit. All You Need Is Love. So it was all you need is love, is what they were saying. And they're saying that it's easy. But we know love is not easy. Love is hard. Paul is explaining how hard love is. But Paul is, in this letter, is saying that it's a model. He gives a model of love. He shows the model of love. Now what had happened was Paul was with the Thessalonians, and when he was there, he had to abruptly leave. He was mentoring them, and he was showing them the Christian faith because they were new to the faith. And he was showing them love, how to show Christian love. But he had to abruptly leave and go somewhere else. So he was checking back with them, and he sent Timothy out to see how they were doing. And Timothy came back and said to them, they're doing great. And Paul was so excited. In verse 9, he starts saying he's rejoicing of how well they're doing. And he's excited about that. And he's telling them, oh, I'm so grateful that you guys are learning and teaching each other the faith and love. But then in verses 10 and 11, he starts saying that he wants to come back. He's going to show them. He's going to come back and they're going to rejoin together. And there's going to be more mentoring of love and faith. And he starts talking about how you have to increase your faith for each other. Because until he comes back. And then verse 12, he starts talking about increasing your love for each other. To mentor each other in love. To really take care of each other. Love one another. Encourage each other. And then he brings in a total picture of difference in 13, where he says, if I don't get back there, because Paul thinks that Jesus is coming any day. But if I don't get back there in time before I see you, before we reunite for me to teach you further in the faith, you have to be as blameless as you can and love each other as much as you can. Because Jesus is coming back, and you have to be as blameless as you can. And when he comes back, he will bring his glory. And the dead and the people that are alive will be united together. So Paul gives a model of love. He's telling us how to love one each other, how to abide in love, how to encourage each other, how to teach each other in Christian love, in Christian mentorship, as Paul was a Christian mentorship. So we get to love. We have these models of love. And we had this race this weekend, and we had the Jacksons and the Chrismans ran in it, and a lot of other Donna Kay ran in it. And I was talking to Vic from the Roadrunners Club, and he was saying that I can't believe it, all the love and the generosity that was put into this race that went to our food pantry. And they came in yesterday and they brought in tons of food. And they couldn't believe it, the generosity and love. And we got talking, we both agreed that there's more love out there than people think. There's a lot more love than people think out there. But we're always being reported on the news of bad things. We always see bad things. The news wants everything to be what's newsworthy is in a negative light. People hurting each other. Because the journalists and the media don't want to show good. You barely hear anything good. So the model we have to go after is the media, and people get attention from the media from doing bad things. So that's the model that we have. And there's a lot of copycatters and people hurting and harming people through copycats and learning from the media. That's the model we have. Maybe if our model of our news was showing good things, showing the love out there, we would have a better model of love. A better model like Paul's model of love. If we had good news, good press. But we always have negative press. And what's newsworthy is something that's always negative. So we have to have a good model of love. And Paul shows it. And you have to teach each other. You have to take care of each other through faith and love. So a lot of us can misuse the word love, can misuse love. A lot of us manipulate love. We can say things like, if you love me, you would do this for me. That's to get what you want. That's called manipulation. Or I'm only saying this because I care about it. That's manipulating to get what you want. Or saying that I am only saying this because I love you. That's to get what you want. That's manipulation. Then there's ways that you can point fingers in loving relationships. You're always pointing fingers at people. It's your fault, it's your fault, it's your fault. Always and always and always. It's never anyone else's fault. But as Barbara taught us in Luke 6:42, you have to take, if you're worried about the little speck of wood in someone else's eye, some of us have to take the big plank of wood out of our own eye before we can even mentor or even talk about love and say things to encourage people. And we're so negative, we put people down. When you're mentoring someone, you cannot put them down, constantly put them down and say negative things to them. You have to lift them up and encourage them. These are how we misuse love. We say the darnest things, but love is hard work. Paul knew love was hard work. He was a tent maker. He would go out and make tents and then proclaim the gospel. Everything he did was work, hard work. Love is hard work. It's just not saying things. You don't just say things. You have to show them, guide them, teach them. That's the way Paul was saying in this, is through mentoring. You have to love each other. You have to guide them. You have to show them. You have to teach each other. To abide, to abound in love, to increase your faith. You can't just say these things. If you're going to say, I'm worried about your health, and just don't do anything, that's not going to be good. That's just going to be negative feedback with people. If you're worried about someone's health, or their weight, or their health, then you order a membership for them. And say to them, okay, I got you a membership. I'm going to pick you up at 6 o'clock. We're going to go and we're going to work out together. Or you can say, okay, 3 times a week, I'm going to show up at your house and we're going to go walking 3 times a week. You just don't say, I'm worried about your health. You have to show them, guide them, teach them. Someone's depressed, having major manic depression. You can say to them, you can't just say, I think you should go to the doctors. You should go to the doctors. Sometimes, even if they're adults, you have to make the appointment for them, tell them what time, and be at their front doorstep to take them, show them, teach them, guide them. You worry about someone's faith. You need to go to church. That's all we say. You need to go to church. Well, that's not what Paul's talking about here. He's telling them that you need to get your butt out there and show them. Guide them. Get your car and say, church starts at 11. Well, I will pick you up 10:30. I will get you there. And then we're going to go to lunch afterwards. Something like that. That's showing. I had, as much as I hate going up to the pulpit, my mentor was great. She was a Christian mentor. Pastor Val Guy. She would literally take me up to the mentor when I messed up. And I'd have to come up here and she would show me what I was doing wrong, go over everything with me. This was a true Christian mentor. She didn't just tell me all the negative things that I did wrong. She would literally open things, show me, and then bring them out. This is how Pastor Val Guerin is. This is how you do it. And she didn't put me down. Too many people feed their self-esteem by putting people down. When they put people down, their self-esteem rises. We can't do that. We have to encourage people. That's how Pastor Val Guerin was to me. She encouraged me. Anything you do in life is hard. We have to encourage people. Love, teach, show, not just say. This is what Paul's talking about. The love model. It's like, for example, those of you that know baseball, if you go and someone tells you to catch a baseball, and your coach just says, as a coach, you're catching the ball wrong, and doesn't show you, teach you, or guide you, and you're catching the ball like this, where's the ball going to end up? It's going to come right back in your face. But you have to have someone show you, teach you, guide you. It's the same thing in Christian faith. Love and faith in an abounding love. You have to tell them, get under the ball. Use both hands. And then they're probably going to turn their glove over again, get hit in it, and then you have to show them again, and again, and again. Love is patient, love is kind. Corinthians 3:14. You have to show them over again how to catch the ball. This is what Christian mentorship is about. This is what Paul is talking about. It's not easy. It's not easy work. It's not as easy as just saying things. You have to show, guide, teach each other, love one another, encourage one another. Some people may say, oh, I love you. I love you so much, to their family. And then they go out and do the most harmful things to their family. But then you have people that don't use their emotions. They don't use their emotions at all. But they're always showing, teaching, guiding you. They're there everywhere you're at. They may have never said they loved you, but you know they love you. This is what true Christian mentorship is. It's hard work. I know I'm repeating myself, but I have to. You show, you teach, you guide. You just don't say. In verse 13, Paul is talking about be as blameless as you can. Teach each other, just in case I don't get back there. You have to be as blameless and holy as you can be. Try to be as perfect as you can be. No one is going to be perfect. None of us are ever going to be perfect. But we have to keep teaching, loving each other. Show, teach, and guide each other. Because one day, the one that is perfect, the true mentor, the one that is blameless, the one that can perfect love, is coming. And when love is perfected by Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior, we will never, ever, ever, as disheartening as it will be for Jake, have to sing, all you need is love. Amen.